Hello everyone, Nadim here with PC.Solutions.Net. So first, let me talk a little bit about our security webinar tomorrow for CPAs. So this is an accredited course that we'll have tomorrow, and it will be an ongoing course. So if you cannot attend tomorrow, you can do so later on. And this is with the Texas CPA organization. So having said that, today I'm going to talk about how you can provision licensing for PSTN calling. PSTN calling is calling landline. So if you want to add the ability to call out to landlines and have a phone number associated with your Office 365 account and be able to call through Teams, you know, in the past it was so complicated. You had to get a PBX license, you had to get a call license, you know, a line license, you had to get a conference license for all these voice options. And these were, you know, all like, you know, $5 there, $8 there, $12 there, just different pricing. And it just, it was just complicated. And then if you don't have the proper license in place, you couldn't voice enable a user, you know, which was, you know, some people were just getting frustrated with it. And we train a lot of other partners on how to implement some of these services. So we saw the frustration in other partners as well. And of course, that feedback slowly made it up to Microsoft. And so now they have an easier way to add voice services to your account. So if you have a supported account, for example, Office 365 E3 or Microsoft 365 E3 or even Microsoft 365 Business Premium, you can add an add-on service. The add-on service is called Microsoft Business Voice. All you have to do is add Microsoft Business Voice. It will automatically add PBX, conferencing, and phone line calling option. So once you add this license, then you can provision the phone numbers and your E91 address and get all that set up. And you can very easily now add licenses for users. So if you think it's a, you know, convoluted, complicated process to add voice, it's no longer that complicated. Now, it is a complex process. A lot of things happen on the back end, you know, like if you want to you know, enable a user, but then if you're thinking of migrating your phone system over into Office 365, you probably want to port some numbers. That entire method of porting numbers and everything is automated. So you have to do certain things in a certain order for things to work properly and correctly without delay. And that's why we come in to help other partners do that knowledge transfer so they can support their customers and voice enable them in Office 365. And it's been you know, a great experience showing some of the partners on you know, how to add voice services on top of data services. Traditionally, IT companies, they're very familiar with the data side of things, but they have no clue when it comes to the voice side of things. So there was some interesting things that we learned through the process, you know, where some of the gaps are and how those gaps are kind of consistent, you know, depending on where the company is coming from. If it's a company coming from the traditional phone system side of things, they have certain different knowledge gaps. If they're coming from the IT side, you know, the data side of things, then they have certain different requirements and gaps. Just a simple thing. If you want to voice enable your user, simply go to your portal and add Microsoft Business Voice to your existing plans. And then you can provision those users with voice numbers and all of that. Now, having said that, the other question I get sometimes is how to make sure that your company has a range of DIDs which are sequential. To a lot of companies, it doesn't matter what individual DID numbers are. Some companies are porting their own numbers over into Office 365, so they don't care. But then there are some other startups where they want to have a set of sequential numbers for their users, just for ease of use or ease of remembering. So the trick is, when you add Office 365 Business voice services and you start to provision numbers, when you first go through the provisioning process, you can reserve a number of DID numbers for that account. And Microsoft uses an algorithm to calculate how many numbers you can reserve. It's based on how many licenses you have. So for example, if you have 20 licenses, you can reserve 40, 50 different numbers, and these are going to be more sequential, as opposed to if you just reserve the 5 or 10 users you have right now, and then a month from now you want to add more users. Well, that number for the additional users is going to be very different from your current DID number. It's not even going to be in the same ballpark. And a lot of times we're seeing, the way Houston is, we're seeing that some of the area codes are just disappearing. We can't get numbers in certain area codes, like 713 and 281 area codes. We can't find numbers a lot of times. So reserve those numbers ahead of time. That way you won't have to worry about getting out of order numbers, and that becomes harder for people to remember and stuff like that. So just some quick tips. And remember, if you are a CPA or a CPA practice, then go ahead and sign up for our security seminar tomorrow. It is a webinar, and we are going to be recording it, so you can use it for your ongoing credit in future as well. So until then, everybody have a good day, and be safe out there.